An average of 30 container ships has sat anchored daily just off the coast of Los Angeles this year.
The normal number of container ships at anchor is 0 to 1.
This ship, the Everfront, not to be confused with the now famous Ever Given, was waiting for 13 days.
Seeing vessels at anchorage outside the nation's largest container port does not happen every day. And it is a once in about a decade situation that we see.
Everfront was part of a bottleneck in the supply chain that's still straining the neighboring ports, which handle about a third of all U.S. imports.
I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that the ports have never really seen this confluence of stresses that they've had to deal with.
It started surging in the late summer as manufacturers and retailers tried to rebuild inventories that were depleted by shoppers in the early months of the pandemic.
We had 57 extra ships arrive in the fall above normal levels, which choked the system because at that same time, the goods movement system ashore, the terminals, the trains, the trucks, the warehouses, the forklift drivers, had some fraction of the workforce out with COVID and a different fraction out because of contact tracing. So just when there's more cargo, there's a less efficient goods movement system ashore, so the ships backed up.
But shipments continued, peaking in February when 177 container ships carrying more than 800,000 containers arrived at the Southern California ports. That's 31% more ships and 49% more containers than the same month last year. This gap highlights a related issue. The ships are getting bigger.
Very biggest boats that come in. And whilst they're very efficient when they're at sea, they're a devil to unpack and a devil to park. And so it takes longer to get all of them sorted out.
So the ships continue to wait an average of. But the ships aren't the only issue here. The entire supply chain, from ports to warehouses to distribution centers, is inundated with cargo.
So if the cargo is not moving quickly from the ship to the shore, out through the warehouses to the consumer, everything else is going to start to back up.
This congestion, which was driven by demand for shipping, also means that the cost of shipping has gone up. The current global average shipping rate is nearly 4 times what it was in January. At the ports, workers are pushing to get the anchored ships moving.
Pre-pandemic, we were welcoming, on average, 10 container vessels in to work at the port, loading and unloading containers every day. During this surge, we've been averaging 15 vessels working every day in the port. That's a 50% jump in productivity alongside our vessels every day.
Soroka says the port's short-term strategy focuses on vaccinating workers, maximizing efficiencies, and asking importers to more quickly pick up cargo. That, he predicts, will help clear the backlog of ships by this summer. Any longer could bring more